Okay, well, we are live. All right, we are live to talk some New York Mets baseball as we conclude the winter meetings, which have been going on for the last few days. This is day 3. They started off in December, on December 3rd, all the way to December 6th, which is today. So it is now the final day of the winter meetings. It has been a little bit less than eventful, I would say. It has not been very active, but we've had some rumors go out and through for the Mets. They have talked. We've seen some words from David Stearns and all of that. We're going to discuss everything that's going on with the Mets right now in the chat. For those of you in here, make sure to leave a like on the stream if you have not already. Subscribe, turn on post notifications for content throughout the week. It's been a little quiet, but we're going to talk about what we know so far. Okay, so for those of you in here, we have a poll in the chat. If you want to answer it, we always do. We'd like to hear from you guys. For those of you who are watching right now, make sure to comment below, join the conversation, and I'll obviously get everything out of the way first. As we all know, the main target for the New York Mets right now is Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who is a 25-year-old Japanese sensation who was just posted, I'd say, about a week ago. Now, there are plenty of teams in on him right now. It looks like about 6 or 7. The Mets, it seems like they are aggressively pursuing him right now. And today, we did get news, even though the Mets did not like that it did get leaked out that it was news, that Steve Cohen and David Stearns both flew out to Japan to meet with Yamamoto in person. And it seems like the Mets are, they don't look like they are going to be outbid for him in any way possible. As we all know, and we've been talking about this since forever, the Mets are not going to get outbid on Yoshi Yamamoto. It's just not going to happen. It all depends on if Yamamoto wants to be a New York Met. We all know that Kodai Senga was friends with him when he was over there in Japan. And he's been a huge advocate for bringing him in as well. So we just don't know at this current point what the preference is for Yamamoto. We have other teams involved, of course. The Yankees have been brought up as well. The Dodgers have been a team that has been active on this one. I've seen Boston as well as a potential suitor. So the Mets are obviously not alone here, but it seems like they are aggressively pursuing Yamamoto, and it looks like that they really want to it seems like they really want to lost my train of thought. Anyways, so it obviously comes with some dangerous risk, of course, because when you look at it, the Mets are going all in for Yamamoto, but the pivot is very risky. We all know that the pivot is, because it's hard to pivot to the free agent market. You see a lot of 29, 30-year-olds, and of course, Yamamoto is 25 years old. There's a difference here, especially with pitching. I mean, just the mileage on a pitcher's arm is just a complete different story, and everything will collapse into itself, right? And the thing is that you have Blake Snell out there, who I don't think that the Mets are going to go after. You have Jordan Montgomery out there. Eduardo Rodriguez, it doesn't look like the Mets are interested in him. We've seen a few free agents that could possibly be the pivot after Yamamoto, because obviously Yamamoto is that fork in the road right now, and wherever he signs, that's the direction that the Mets are going to obviously go in. And that's what you're looking at right now. Yamamoto is a Mariner. Sorry. Can the Mariners even spend any money right now? I mean, are they trying to cut some bait right now? But yeah, at this point, we're just pretty much playing the waiting game of what the Mets can do, and what the Mets can't do, which is pretty much just spend, aimlessly. That's just not what the Mets need to do. And that's the thing. And I think a lot of Mets fans have been upset with that kind of thing, because I think the Mets are going to spend money this offseason, but it's obviously not going to be this big luxury tax exceeding type of offseason. And the reason why is because of the lesson that they just learned in the last 2 years of bringing in these veteran pieces that are limited, and bringing in these guys who, even though we're on short-term deals, they're not long-term deals. You're paying a lot of that off. You have $50 million right now in retained salaries for those guys not to play on your team. So the Mets, obviously, they do probably have more money than God, as you're obviously looking at it with Steve Cohen being worth as much as he is, but it's okay to take a step back like this. And I understand it sucked, and you want to completely rage spin out the ass, but that's not the approach that you're looking at right now with David Stearns, and it's the right approach, because they can't just spend money to solve problems. It just can't happen every single year. As much as Steve Cohen probably has the opening to do it, it's just not a smart and sustainable way to do it, and just patch things up year by year. And the Mets want to build this sustainable winner, and that's pretty much what you're looking at. Now, obviously, the Mets have done a few signings here and there. They haven't been big. The biggest, I would say, is probably Luis Severino, who we did go live for after that happened. We also talked about, what was it? What did we talk about? No, Wendell did not sign. I think Wendell signed right after I actually went off live. Wendell also was signed. It seems like that's the Guillorme replacement or whatever. He's going to be on the bench. It was a major league contract. And then you also had Michael Tonkin, who actually just signed yesterday, and then Austin Adams, 2 relievers right there. And then the Mets had a few minor league signings as well. And there's a lot of talk of Mets fans, the Mets, like kind of just like picking up scraps right now. Well, the thing is that the Mets need to fill a 40-man roster, and they still have quite a few spots still open. And, whether they build that depth from within or whether they just go external, whether they trade for pieces, the Mets, they need to address these pieces to the roster while they wait on their biggest fish, which is going to be Yamamoto. We don't know what the Mets are going to be looking at after Yamamoto happens. If Yamamoto does not sign with the Mets, that is a direction we don't know that the Mets are going to go into. And I hope that isn't a reality, because I really do want Yamamoto. I want Yamamoto to be a Met. I think he's fantastic. I think he's got a great career ahead of him. And I would love to pair him up with Senga. The man's got great stuff. He's got great command. He's got great control. I think he's going to age fantastic in this league, probably better than Senga. But the thing is that the Mets, if you're looking at it right now, spending money is not going to, it's not going to solve every single problem that you're looking at for the Mets right now, because we've seen things with player development. We have seen things with certain depth of the roster. The roster last year, it was very top heavy. It was a very top heavy roster. If your top stars were not doing what they needed to do, the team was going to suck. The team was going to be terrible. And that's how it's been for a long time. The Mets have always been a top heavy team. If Pete Alonso's not hitting, no one's hitting. If Max Scherzer and Verlander weren't pitching, no one was pitching. So those stars, those top line stars, they patch up a lot. They cover a lot of sins, shall we say. We didn't have our frontline reliever last year in Edwin Diaz. After that, Edwin Diaz makes that bullpen. You could talk about David Robertson and Adam Ottavino all you want, and all of these other arms. Edwin Diaz made that bullpen. That was the bullpen. Edwin Diaz. They couldn't do it without him, right? Stearns says he doesn't want to overpay, but Yamamoto is 100% going to be overpaid. I don't think the Mets, I think the Mets are looking at long-term investments that deserve a long-term deal. And that's the deal. That's what I'm looking at. When were the Mets linked to Lourdes Gurriel? I want him, but we've been linked to. That was like a week ago, Gurriel. The Mets were like, I don't know what it was, is like they were like pivoting their outfield, the outfield market or something. I saw something about that, so I just put it unlisted on there. I don't know who else they were linked to, but Shota Imanaga is another one from Japan who they've also been linked to, who's also really good. I think the Mets will spend the most for him. It's just on him if he wants to play. That's exactly what we've been saying. And that's exactly what, the motto has been, and it's always been like that. These stories change every single day, especially with major leagues, especially when no moves are going. You're just going to continue to create these rumors, right? These rumors are still can continue to flow when nothing happens. And when you look at it right now, the Mets, it seems like their main priority is obviously getting pitching, and they're going to go after the biggest, hottest commodity on the market, not only like whether it's talent-wise, but long-term. And I think that that's what they're looking at right now. And I don't want to see them not get Yamamoto, because I really want Yamamoto, and then pivot to, long-term, we're going to be committing to Jordan Montgomery and Eduardo Rodriguez. And, we're going to bring in Lucas Giolito. Like, I don't want to see that happen. That's not a vision I want. But if it happens, it happens. But right now we're at a standstill, and we'll see what happens with Yamamoto. We might not get any news for a week or 2 weeks. I don't know. But right now, you need Yamamoto and Ohtani to set the market. The best hitter and the best pitcher on the market right now. And that's why everything has been slow, not just for the Mets, but throughout all of baseball. And the Mets are kind of doing that half and half by bringing in some of these minor league guys, these free agent signings as well. That's been what their purpose has been with it. And that's what they're looking at. They need to fill this roster, but they're also waiting on kind of building their offseason around what happens with Yamamoto. What are my thoughts on Taylor? I would 100% sign Michael A. Taylor. I think Taylor would be a fantastic addition if he was a fourth outfielder. I think this is a great fourth outfielder. Overall, the tools that he has are great. I don't know if it's 1 year or 2 year deal. I'm fine with that. I think that if, you bring in somebody like that, you need somebody who could start in a pinch if you need him to start in a pinch, because we don't know what the deal is with Starling Marte. Because Starling Marte, there's a lot of concern there. There's a lot of concern with Starling Marte. And, I think that if they were to bring in Michael A. Taylor, I don't want to see him being the starter on opening day. But if he does have to start for a majority of the time, I would be fine with that. He definitely had a good power surge last year, which is good. It's hard to see, a fourth outfielder, deliver you power. A fourth outfielder usually gives you just defense and speed. If you can get that in addition to that, that would be perfect, because you got 21 home runs from Michael A. Taylor. The batted ball data was so much better than it was, in his earlier career. He was filling in for a long time with Buxton being out there in Minnesota. So, he could be a starting caliber player on any team, but if you get him as a fourth outfielder, I wouldn't mind it. But obviously the main focus right now is pitching. And I think we all know that. And the main top of the pitching heap is Yamamoto. So we'll see what happens with him. For those of you in here who have not liked the stream already, please do. Be greatly appreciated. Vote on the poll as well of what you would pivot to if the Mets do not sign Yamamoto. Also, let me know in the comments if you think Yamamoto will go elsewhere and where he would possibly be. I personally think the Mets will end up with him. If I had to predict, I would say the Mets get Yamamoto. I was expecting to go live a lot more during the winter meetings, but nothing really broke. So I decided after the winter meetings are done, the final day, we'll hop on here. We'll recap everything. We'll have a discussion of everything. And that's that. I think we're all just awaiting the Juan Soto news, of course. I think that's pretty much the baseball world right now. Which, listen, we'll see what happens with Soto. That's interesting. I hope we get Yamamoto. That's my get. Yeah, listen, that's been my priority since the very beginning. I understand everybody wanted to, everybody is looking at the big fish of Soto and Otani, but I think in the current direction that they look at the Mets, uh, you know, it just fits the scheme right now. It fits the script of what you're looking at with Yamamoto better than anybody else. And it's not like I would not be happy if the Mets got Otani or Soto or something like that. But Tony Metro, what's going on, guys? Tony Metro, old friend of the channel. The Mets will sign Jed Lowry to a 3-year, $28 million deal. Boy, I fucking hope not. Did Lowry retired, didn't he? I don't know. He'll come out of retirement, maybe. I don't know. When the Knicks were doing that, what was it? They had Rasheed Wallace come out of retirement or something, and then they had Baron Davis come out of retirement or something. There was a report that just came out about the Cubs are reportedly out on Yoshi Yamamoto. So I guess that's one less team for competition right now for the Mets. But currently the serious suitors of what we've gotten recently, the most recent report, obviously because these change all the time, Blue Jays, Dodgers, Giants, Yankees, Mets, and then there's 2 other mystery teams, which I believe one of them has to be the Red Sox, because we've heard a lot of Red Sox traction recently. PB, thank you for the donation. You're the best, Carson. Thank you. Really appreciate that. For those of you who are in here, donations are not they're not required at all. I do not advise anybody to give them. They will be accepted if they are, but I don't advise anybody to pay us, of course. We're here to talk about baseball, of course, but thank you very much for the very kind donation of $10. Thank you so much. All right. What was it? Rule 5 draft. Was that what was that? I think that was it. That was what I was going to say. Okay. Rule 5 draft. The Mets took Justin Slayton from the Texas Rangers in AAA in the MLB round. And when you look at it right now, the Mets have a 40-man roster with a lot of openings right now. And it was very confusing because the Mets ended up trading Justin Slayton to the Red Sox for a left-handed pitcher who in Ryan Ammons, I think, something like that, who actually has not pitched a single minor league inning yet. So it was just very confusing as to what it was. I didn't understand it. I really didn't get it. But for some reason, the Mets just did not want to hold on to Slayton. And I was kind of upset with that because I think that, I did like Slayton a lot. I don't know if there was just something they didn't like or they just got like, something in return that they liked a little bit better. But that was a little bit weird. I did not understand that, to be honest, because I think Slayton was expected to go number 1 in that Rule 5 draft. He throws hard. He's got good stuff. And I feel like that would have been a good addition, but for some reason, no. Hi, Andrew. My co-host is in here. Very, very odd. Just going to make sure there's no new news, because I guess we're all checking. Adam Simber is going to the Angels. I'm pretty sure he was non-tendered. 1-year deal. Trying to catch up on everything. Let's see. Doop, 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 doop. What the hell is this? Oh my God. Yeah, I can't repeat that on stream. Okay. Craig Kimbrell went to the Orioles. For those of you who missed that, for anybody that wanted Craig Kimbrell, I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. I think we're just all awaiting Juan Soto right now. That's pretty much all we're awaiting right now. For those of you who have any questions, comments, I'm going to go probably about 45 minutes, 50 minutes here. I'm not going to go too long unless something else breaks. Do I come out and tell a story? I mean, if you want to, you could. I'm going to have to rearrange the graphic a little bit here, but you could. You getting thrown out of the winter meetings. Yeah. You could do that. Yeah, Andrew was at the winter meetings. I had a few sources from the inside. Did I want Soto? I mean, listen, I think I wouldn't be opposed to it, but again, it's just like Soto and Ohtani, the two of them, of what their value is, it wasn't going to be solved with the problems that the Mets have, right? And I think that when you look at it, the Mets really couldn't, like, they couldn't manage to have another top heavy roster as they have, right? I mean, that's what you were looking at right now. And, you know, if the Mets wanted to go after Juan Soto, I'd be full on for it, but I just don't think it's a priority. You know, like that's what I just don't see as a priority for the Mets right now, because they have just way too many holes right now, metaphorically and, you know, actually, because they have holes on this 40-man roster right now. I just need to hold on, guys. Give me a second. There we go. Okay. So let me upload this because in case I forget. So yeah, I think you know, I would be all for it. I'm not against the possibility of Soto or Ohtani being a Mets. I just don't think that's the direction they need to go in right now. I don't think that that's the priority for the Mets right now, and it shouldn't be. I just don't think it. I think that at one point, you know, enough is enough. You can't just rage spend at one point. It's just not a sustainable way to just throw money at everything or just throw prospects in anything, because it just doesn't seem like the Mets want to give up those pieces. And I understand why they don't want to, because, you know, they tore it down for a long time and they just did not have a lot of pieces in that farm system. And at this point, they have a decent conglomerate. You know, they still have to work on it, because through years and years, I just don't think that they want to blow it up. And I understand why they don't want to. There's a few pieces that I would trade for certain pieces, but, you know, as you look at it right now, I just don't think. I think that there's just too many areas the Mets need to focus on right now. And I think that they can build a World Series team without going after Shohei Ohtani or going after Juan Soto. I think it would help, of course, but there's a lot of pieces on this team that there's a lot of placement on this team that needs to be filled. For those of you in here who have not already, hit the like button if you have not already. What the hell is this? Okay, there we go. Okay, so looks like Tyler Glasnow talks are still continuing. Looks like the Cubs are the front line for Tyler Glasnow talks right now. Yeah, I think that all the sexy names out there for the Mets, I think it comes with too much risk for them to just go all in for it. There's just a lot of problems that need to be solved. Co-host will be here in a little bit. We got anything new? We're all just pretty much awaiting Soto right now. Oh, talk about the draft pick drop. Yeah, that is true. The draft lottery, I forgot all about that actually. Thank you for reminding me. The draft lottery, that was so off, like it was so awful how they executed that. Because you had everybody like going into the top 18 or whatever, and you had 18 teams there. But then for some reason, like you had those spots already filled. It was just so weird. We didn't hear the Mets name get called at all. And then you had all of a sudden the top two picks were not the Mets at all. So it seemed like the Mets got number 9 in the original draft lottery. But then they just dropped to 19, obviously, for the 10 spots, which we do understand. But I guess for some reason it's not top 6 protected, which initially we got that. So I don't know what the hell went on there, but if you draft well, you draft well. Again, it doesn't matter what slot you're in. So the Mets obviously need to just draft well in general. It would have been nice to obviously have a top 6 pick or whatever. But in any situation, I mean, the Mets just need to draft better. And a lot of the top 100 picks that they've had recently have just not been great. There have been other options that have been a lot better. The hell is this? Trying to pay attention to 3 things at once. Waiting for my co-host to come on in here. For those of you who have not, hit the like button, subscribe, post notifications if you have not already. For those of you watching on replay, and everything. I mean, we have a podcast that comes out every single week. And it hasn't come out for 2 weeks, but we will have a different situation next week. Excuse me. Hold up. Wait. Let me get your thing in here. Does that work? Okay. I'll have to adjust it, obviously. Okay. So you were at the winter meetings, right? Okay. That was correct. Okay. So that's correct.
That is.
You got kicked out.
Yeah.
You got kicked out for doing criminal activity.
For criminal activity of asking professional athletes to sign a piece of paper. That's why I got kicked out of the winter meetings.
Okay, so what was the deal here? Like,
all right, so obviously MLB promotes this. Obviously on MLB Network, they tell you come down to Nashville. Come down wherever the hell it's at. This year it's in Nashville. So I come down the Sunday, and we forget. Oh yeah, nobody's broadcasting on Sunday except they did the late thing for like a 6 o'clock show. We were out of there by then. So we drove up to Nashville, planned out the hotel. The hotel is fucking massive. Like, no, again, usually with these winter meetings, like they're always in these big ass hotels. This was just a goddamn small village out there. So we plan it out, whatever. And then we go on Monday to go we're prepped for Hot Stove, Intentional Talk, all the normal shows we go. So 8 o'clock hits, we get up. Of course, Hot Stove, we all thought starts at 8. Of course, now because of the winter meetings, it doesn't start till 10 Eastern, 9 Central, which we're in the Central time zone. So we had 2 hours to do nothing waiting for the stuff. But we did see Sirius XM was there. So Steve Phillips, Eduardo Perez, our favorite voice. I had to sit and listen to him for about 2 hours, just talking like a frog. And it was just pain-numbingly, my ears were bleeding. But they did have some guests coming on, which were good possibility. I'll grab the sheet when I'm done. But MLB starts at 10. Again, I'll add if you want me to add the pictures. I'm in the background. If you watch the beginning of Hot Stove, my fat ass is in the backdrop, just chilling when they're talking to John Mozeliak. There's the Rhino. I can pull the video. Well, I don't know if you want to pull the pic. I can pull the pictures up or whatever. So early on, there's one security guard obviously guarding the MLB Tonight set, rightfully so. No problems. And from about 8 o'clock, when we got Eduardo Rodriguez and Steve Phillips, to about 2:30, it was free game. They kept, obviously, if you watched any of the MLB Tonight coverage, every 10 minutes, it was a new guest. And every 10 minutes, I was getting a new guy every time. No problem. And there was maybe, let's say, 7 to 12 autograph. It grew throughout the day, obviously. But early in the morning, it was like 4 of us. And, we're getting Mozeliak and, like Twins GM, like A's GM. I miss Mark Kotze. But, like, all the New York guys didn't show up until after I got kicked out, of course, because Cashman, Stearns, Mendoza, all those guys showed up after I got kicked out. But, again, couldn't get that. I talked to some people, again, with some because all of them kept together in their little groups. So, like, I got connections and talked a little bit. Obviously, I was a little more, friendly with the Cardinal people and got a little nugget. I don't know if it's, that big a nugget, but, just talking to some inside GM or front office people. And about 2 o'clock, now there's like 6 to 7 security guards. And we're like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, there's no problem. Like, there's no, like, big, like, debacle. Like, we're being respectful. We're letting them, they're doing the TV spots. And then between the TV spots, we're just asking them to sign a few things. About 2:30, there's this son of a bitch. And she was, like, eyeballing us the whole fucking time. She comes up to us being like, oh, do you have credentials? So obviously you do. There is spots in the place you can't go in. That's being obviously the auditorium. If you watch the Jackson Trio or the Hall of Fame announcement, there is an auditorium, and then let's go. There's a hallway here. There's an auditorium on the right side where all like the press conferences happen. You're not allowed to go in there without credentials. And then the hallway on the other side of the hallway is MLB Tonight, SNY, ESPN, Yes, the Dodgers and A's and the Giants, and then Sirius XM is at the end. So I was just saying we're in the hotel lobby. Like, I'm not in the, what's it called? I'm not in the media room. I am in the hotel in the hallway, which should be fair game. She comes up and she goes, where's your credentials? I'm like, well, I'm not in the room. This is a fucking piece of the whole, this is the normal part of the hotel. Like, I don't need fucking credentials. Like, and there's dozens of people who don't have credentials. Autograph people or not, no credentials at all, but they're just chilling around. All because I had my card out, which the best part, it was for Dave Roberts. And that's the last guy we couldn't have got before getting kicked out, which is kind of funny. Before all this chaos with him talking about the meeting with Ohtani, he was the last guy I saw. But then she starts saying, oh, where's your credentials? my dad's going off. Like I'm not that confrontation with you. It's different. I can be confrontation with you because you're a dumbass, and that's how we are. But I'm not normally in a situation. I'm like, all right, whatever, fuck this. I'm not gonna do this. So I start walking out. Then they fucking start. There's like 2 cops. They start walking us out like we're fucking prisoners, like we beat the shit out of somebody. And the chick's got the radio.
Wait, this was
being
just
like,
you,
me and my dad, and one of the other.
You were the only one that was like,
yeah,
okay.
Me, my
but
dad.
There's other people walking around.
There's other people walking around getting autographs.
When I was watching, like the MLB Network, like it didn't look like there was a huge crowd.
No,
like,
there wasn't. That's what made it
look like there was 50 people behind you.
There was no. That's what made the getting autographs so easy.
Yeah,
it was maybe when it got later in the day, it got to like 12. In the morning, there was like 4 people.
It seemed like the last day convention type of thing. Like, it was not many people.
Like, it was perfect. It was perfect for autographs. There was nobody there. Obviously, you had your people, your front office people, they were all walking around with their credentials. But the people were in the hotel property. So then she radios in, guy with a blue sweatshirt, blue backpack, get him out of here. And then my dad or whatever. Then she starts saying, you're not allowed to get autographs. So what the fuck is it? Is it I don't have credentials? Or I'm not allowed to get autographs. And then she makes the bullshit. Are you staying here? So you don't have a ticket and you have to leave the property. It's private property. You have to leave the premises. The hotel has the authority to kick you out. My dad's giving him hell. I'm out here. I was with my grandfather, which if you see the clip, the big old bird looking dude, that's my grandfather. We brought him, had to get him out the house. He's like, because he has Crohn's disease. He's out here taking a shit the whole time, which is the best part of the story. He's in the bathroom on the other side of the hotel, the other side of like down the lobby where the autograph by the serious guys. So we got to wait to get him. They're kicking us out. We're like, hold up. I got to get my grandfather to go home. And this bitch is running us out like we fucking beat up somebody. So I'm like, one of the cops took my dad, calmed him down. She was apologetic. There was one cop was great. The hotel bitch, the little, mall cop, she was an asshole. So my grandfather comes out of the bathroom. We finally get him. He's like, what the hell's going on? And again, my dad's going off. I'm just like walking. I'm like, just fucking bullshit being bullshit or whatever. I'm just like, whatever. Like, I'm not like, all right, it's 2:30. And it was kind of a blessing in disguise because we didn't get back. If we would have stayed to the SNY broadcast, we probably don't get home till like 2 to 3 in the morning. So like we got out of there like 3 o'clock. We obviously got dinner. It
seemed like most of the small market ones were going early. Like those were the earlier ones.
It was because
I saw Kansas City. I saw St. Louis,
the Diamondbacks,
Twins, Diamondbacks. Like it seemed like
I'll get the thing. So I'll get because the Chirrio story is good. So I'll get the stuff because the Chirrio story is fucking hysterical.
It just didn't look like there was anybody there. Like it looked like, it was just like some people coming in and out, but it was like, it was flowing pretty well. And like, it didn't seem like it was like completely crowded, like some kind of paparazzi event. So, obviously I wasn't there, but like I was watching the broadcast and it looked as dead as he's describing it. Like there's 50 people there in the entire hotel. I don't know. It seems like from what you're saying, I feel like, there was probably something from the other rooms of like people were going places that they shouldn't have. And
because the hotel, it was.
I don't get why you were the only one cornered though. Were you just the only one?
It was me, my dad, and there was one other elf-looking dude. They got him up out of there. That was it. So then, but I didn't say I'm not a type of guy like if you're gonna throw me. I'm not gonna be like he's getting autographs. He getting like the guy behind the other elf-looking dude. He's like that guy's getting autographs. He's like pointing everybody out. I'm like I'm not gonna do that. Like you got a problem, fine. Take it out with me, whatever. But this elf-looking dude is just calling out everybody, and she's like bullshit. And obviously, I didn't know if she went and got the rest of them. But like the fact that she's radioing in, guy in a blue hoodie with blue backpack. My dad black backpack. Collared polo or whatever. Like that's what was fucked up. And like the bullshit excuse was it was first, you don't have credentials. You can't get autographs. And then you're not a hotel resident. Do you have you're staying here? So I'm like, what if I could have been like, I have credentials. I was like, I almost wish I was standing like, so what the fuck next? I'm staying at the hotel. I have credentials. What's next? I can't get autographs. Like it was just fucking. It was great until that bitch fucked it up because it was like you said, no one was there. No one was getting autographs. It didn't
look like it needed to be controlled at all.
And it was like everyone was chill, and I think that was the other thing throughout the whole morning. Everyone was like calm, They did the media thing. There was like
you could have got Boris. You could have got Boris.
Dude, I missed out on
today.
Boris. Okay, no. Here's the thing that hurt me. Well, not hurting me. Like I left at 2:30, 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Then Mendoza showed up. Then Stern showed up. Then Boone showed up. And then you go on MLB Tonight late at night. Jake Berger's there. Brandon Lau's there. Vinny Pasquantino shows up. I saw Whit Merrifield. I got him. Like, and he was whatever. And then yesterday, and Jim Leland shows up. Like after I leave, Leland and 3, very good players show up. And then today, obviously, James McCann was there. I missed the legendary photo opportunity to meet James McCann because I got thrown out.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
But again, you look at this was maybe 5 hours, and I walked away with this. Like, imagine what I could have done of 3 full days. Like, again, and there's nobody again. I got like
Lavello. Had to get another one.
What? I was doing it.
I would have had.
Yeah. Oh shit! If I was there all 4 days, I probably would have had. There was a Walmart across the street.
You can't have Boris just sign that. Come on.
I would give it his. Like, I got Shahadi on here. I got Lauren Shahadi on here. I got Brian Kenny, Verducci. I got Heyman on here. My dad got Rosenthal. I didn't get Heyman. I didn't get Rosenthal. He got Rosenthal. I got Heyman. I got JP Morosi. I got I threw everybody on there because they were just sitting there. Like, who else is on here? I got like Carlos Baerga was walking around doing interviews for ESPN Deportes. Rajay Davis was just literally. Well, I would say. There was a bunch of players. Like there was a bunch of former players chilling there, and I'm like, the first thing it's 8 in the morning. I'm looking around because again, this is the winter meetings. Everybody's there, so you're gonna see people walking around. All I see is Rajay Davis walking past you. I'm like, what the fuck's Rajay doing here? My dad chases him down, and later in the day, I find I didn't get him. I was like, I'm not chasing him. I'm fat. He's not worth running after. There's a certain player I ran after. We'll get to it in a second. He comes back later today. He's just chilling in the lobby. I'm like, hey, Raj, take a second to sign. He signed. And he goes, what number do I put down? I'm wearing a fucking Mets hat. I'm like, put your fucking Met number down, my man. Like, I'm wearing a fucking Mets hat.
What was his Met number? I forget.
18. Darryl Strawberry's number. But, again, it was so, tell that bitch I could have gone nuts. But then let's get to this Jackson Chourio story. Because, one, I'm on MLB's Twitter, which is fucking hysterical, giving me my COA. But Chourio, I don't realize Chourio is doing his press conference behind me. I'm sitting here waiting for the A's GM. He's doing the spot with Sirius XM. I'm sitting here waiting to get ad. I'm just adding everybody to the sheet. And I look out of the corner of my eye and I see a man in a jersey getting swarmed with a media crew. I'm thinking and I see it's a Brewers jersey. I'm like, is that fucking Chourio? My fat ass hauls ass down the lobby. Like, again, I don't
That should have been your credentials. You should have showed her that video of him.
I haul ass down the fucking hallway, get him on the switch, and then my dad's pen doesn't fucking work. And I don't realize this. MLB is recording the video, which, again, I go to check Twitter like an hour later. I'm like, oh, let's see if there's any news. Because I'm thinking, it's the winter meeting. And I just scroll my timeline, and my dumbass is the front of my timeline. I'm like, well, I didn't record. Holy shit, the fucking MLB Twitter just posted me, giving me a full COA on my Chourio ball. So, yeah, I mean, it was fun. I definitely would do it again, but hopefully that bitch isn't there because it was just easy. Like, it was so easy in the morning. Like, oh, there's Airtel Sebastian.
The next time you should wear a name tag that says credential.
Credential. I mean, I saw a certain YouTuber that was there. Didn't really say much. We're not going to give him that much today, but I did see him first thing in the morning, and I'm like, he did look like a dork. He did look like a dork, but I didn't, I think we saw it. I just, let him walk by or whatever.
Right. Don't. If it's not good name drop, don't name drop. Okay.
I mean, it's not a good name.
I think we'll end it here because, again, I just wanted to hop on, talk a little bit because, there just hasn't really been much, and there hasn't really been much movement because, we were just waiting for the top dominoes to fall. I mean, last year you had the top pitcher and the top hitter both go before the winter meetings even started. You had, Judge sign, and then you had DeGrom sign before that. So, but now, the top pitcher and the top hitter, they're still available right now. And it's the winter meeting. So that shoe's not going to drop. And, as all I can say right now is be patient, Mets fans. Just be patient. Okay. All right. I'm asking you, they are looking towards one piece right now. And once that piece drops, you'll get to see the trajectory of this offseason, whether they get him or whether they don't. So for those of you who are in here, like the stream if you have not. For those of you watching on playback, subscribe for any time that we go live for breaking news, for any time the Mets make a signing. We will have a podcast next week. We'll talk about everything recently of everything going on. Maybe a video sprinkle in there. I don't know. I'm not sure. It all really just depends on, what just comes. But for those of you who made it throughout, who were here for the entire stream, thank you so much. Yeah, let's go Mets. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.